Peekskill PD, Officer Patterson.
Yeah, hi. This is Raina Fortini. Somebody told me that there was police ringing my doorbell.
You home?
No,
You're not home?
no.
Okay, when you get home, give us a call.
You
We're
can't.
open.
You can't tell me what it's about.
Nope, not over the phone, ma'am. It's an ongoing investigation. When you get home, just give us a call and we'll send an officer down and we'll explain everything to you.
Well, you're scaring me.
You need to be scared. You're not in any trouble.
So you just need to talk to me about something that's going on. I'll come down there.
If you want to come down, that's fine too.
Okay, well, I noticed that the police officer, someone said he was bald, and I, I think that there was some animosity or something, so can you just reassure me I don't have to be scared of anything?
No, you don't have to be scared of anything, ma'am. Like I said, you can either come down to the station or when you get home, just give us a call and we'll send the cop up, okay?
Okay, because I mean, people lie and make stuff up, so I'm afraid that someone's.
No, you're not in any trouble, alright?
So after I talk to you, I'm. Oh my God, he hung up on me.
.com?
Yes.
Okay. This type of communication will stop. You cannot email them. Okay. That's a formal request. This is coming straight from the chief of police. All right. No more emailing these people.
That's so funny. I thought I was coming down to help you with the prostitutes going in and out of my building.
No.
But instead, the disparaging things that she wrote about me, and I just sent her an email pointing them out with a slightly sarcastic ending.
Look, however it is that you perceive the emails, she's obviously perceiving them in a different way. Look, you can sit there and you can snuff all you want, all right? But I'm telling you this so that you don't take it any further, because if you take it further and you persist, then you'll actually start to violate a law. Okay? So I'm giving you the opportunity to
intended to email her again.
Okay, so then
I said what I had to say.
So then we're good. So then you don't have to worry about it.
What in there is threatening, though, out of curiosity?
It's not for me to say.
Well, there isn't anything threatening.
It's irrelevant. They don't want any more communication. Okay? So no more communication with the city clerk's office, and you're good.
So if I need to do anything, what should I do? If I need to foil
If you need to foil,
or...
don't contact the city clerk's office via email. You can call them. I'm sure you can go in person. I mean, FOIL requesting and things like that, that's your right.
So I still have access to the city clerk's office?
Sure, but emailing, no. And emailing of this nature, no more. Okay?
Yeah, I got it. But
okay.
But the whole point of that was, I don't know if you were here, but the police took a dog away from me. And then no one would help me, so I went to the city clerk. I'll be fast, or the city council meeting, and tried to very politely, without losing my temper or anything, ask for help to say this was unfair. And then I just happened to read the minutes, and she makes me sound like I have Cheerios with Martians. And that was like, and that was deliberate.
Like I said, I wasn't there. However, you're interpreting. Hold on. However, you're interpreting what she said, what she wrote down. It is what it is. We're all adults here. I'm telling you, just no more contact with the city clerk's office via email. Okay. If you want to FOIL a request,
I would just like you to know.
But honestly, I mean.
But this is where the disrespect for me comes from.
I get that.
Do you? Because I would really appreciate someone to just see my side. Because all I did was say, "How dare you?"
Okay.
And I quoted
like I said,
her.
I'm not passing judgment on you. I'm not passing judgment on her. I'm simply the middleman here, and I'm telling you, a request was formally passed down to us to inform you to cease contact via email with the city clerk's office.
I sent her 2 emails.
Look, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. They want no more contact from you via email.
The only reason I'm pushing. I got it.
So then we're good. You don't have to justify yourself or explain yourself to me. I don't think any less of you or any more of you.
But I do,
right?
because this.
That would be for your own purposes. It's got nothing.
But the way you just said, nothing like this. Like there's anything in there that's bad. I mean, I have copies of that too, and I basically said, "This is what I said. This is what you said. I said. How dare you?" And that's why I have a problem with everybody, because everybody's bad-mouthing me. I mean, even Sergeant Helmy was telling me a few months ago, oh, well, you have a video yelling at the firemen for where they park. which was not at all what was happening. Like, as if anyone
Raina,
would yell at firemen.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to misinterpret any...
I'm not even trying to interpret it. As I told you, I'm the middleman here. It was interpreted in a certain way where it was basically, it was deemed that she didn't want to have any more contact. So long as you don't contact her, you're not going to have a problem from us, okay? I actually can't sit here for 20 minutes and talk about this. I'm one of the dispatchers.
But you
tonight,
do
so
remember when we met?
Yes, I remember when we met.
And you still stand by that? Like, did you see the... I mean, I know that was like kind of a snickery way to put that up there, like... The emails,
yeah,
the recording of him saying that he beats women. He's a violent, dangerous man.
I'm not
who just a week ago was talking about torturing mice.
I have to go sit at the desk, okay? There's only one guy in there right now, so...
But my point is, nobody does anything about a pimp that has a business of prostitution in and out of my building, but this is what I get from the police. They steal my puppies, they threaten me because the clerk is, I guess, protecting herself legally because this... is on my record, right? This is on my record.
However you choose to interpret it.
Well, that's the last thing I want to ask. Is that like somehow on my record? Like it makes, like I have a...
No, but I can tell you right now, I'm going to do a blotter entry on it that you came to the police headquarters, that I spoke with you, and I advised you to cease contact via email.
What does a blotter entry mean? Like it's going to be in the newspaper?
No, of course it's not going to be in the newspaper. We don't publish our blotters, all right? But it's a matter of police record.
Okay.
Okay?
So funny, I thought I was coming down to help. And that's why,
Drive safe.
and honestly, that's why I
Raina,
can answer the
what's
door.
on your door?
Because there's nothing but hostility. And I am like one of the best people in this city. My life is screwed up now because of so much I've been robbed of, but you know what I live with.
Raina, I'm not passing.
And I don't know why they win. So I thought I had all of this in order and I was going to just let it read itself, but somehow the different pieces of two different emails got a little discombobulated, and I will take the time at some point to straighten it out, but for now I'm just going to let this be the background. These are screenshots from the email sent on my phone, and I'm just going to read them. I am shaking. I cannot believe what a bully the chief of police is. But anyway, I wrote a subject titled this "Calculated Malice." It's really very telling to compare the respectful way Pamela Beach synopsizes the loud, rude, vulgar, and pointless ramblings of Daryl Davis, even makes sure to include the man's illustrious title of his bogus, as it is racist, organization. And yet when I was trying my very best to remain polite, discussing some very serious accusations I was making about false police reports for months, after the Peekskill Police Department, I say PPD, intervened in a civil matter and illegally threatened to arrest me if I didn't hand over a puppy. And I have that on tape. The cop saying that to me, the ACO, the animal control officer. So here I was formally accused. Here I will formally accused Miss Pamela Beach. That should have been accused Miss Pamela Beach of being a part of that conspiracy to cover up their screw up. August 12th, and this is the example that I use. The first words out of my mouth and recorded on government TV on tape, I say, quote, "Tonight I am formally accusing Peekskill Police Department of purposely writing false and disparaging police reports. Also, I added that when I had called Peekskill Police to ask for help that night, I was twice hung up on, and that I had recorded these phone calls with police because they were so disrespectful and incredibly rude." And this is all very much because of my neighbors, which is what my whole YouTube page is about, and this has gone on for years. But Miss Beach, her minutes from that meeting read as follows. Well, I'm paraphrasing, but notice how Miss Beach reduces and twists my words, August 12th, 2013. Minutes read, Raina Fortini, Peekskill resident, spoke about what she called disparaging remarks made about her from members of the Peekskill Police Department and stated that she is recorded whenever she calls the police department, period. It's not at all what I said. And it makes me sound a little crazy. So I said, I guess her mind was elsewhere. In my email I wrote, I guess her mind was elsewhere. While I was begging for the city council's help to take note of the way I have been treated for years. Then I use another example, October 15th, 2013. Pam Beach wrote in the minutes, Raina Fortini suggested that there be a moratorium on the use of the word bully, which I did, and I wrote something sarcastic, surprised Miss Beach got that one right. But she continued and ended with, quote, Ms. Fortini stated that she foiled police reports regarding a break-in her electrical closet. It should say break into her electrical closet, and asked that something be done about foliage on the trees on the Bear Mountain Parkway. And that's all she said. So no mention of the more serious things that I said. And if she didn't understand me, that's fine. But each one has this little twist where I sound like I'm having breakfast with the Martians. So, and then I wrote, wow, you have some nerve, Miss Beach. I had said that I foiled for a police report and was told that none existed. And I said this on television. It's recorded. Yet Miss Beach leaves that crucial part out, ? Should read, yet Miss Beach leaves that crucial part out. That was the whole point of my coming. Something very serious happened. Police were called, the entire incident on tape. Hello? An entire apartment building full of people's lives were put in, full of people. I should have edited this because it is a little confusing. Lives were put in danger. And yet because it involves a McNair family member, LOL, it's brushed under the rug. I accuse the city of favoritism, which it was. This guy broke into the electrical closet for the building, blew up. Anyway, and so it continues. Ms. Beach purposely leaves out the pertinent points here and segues into another one of my nutty comments about the foliage on the Bear Mountain Parkway. When I had specifically talked about kudzu, it's a vine that when left uncontrolled will eventually grow over almost any fixed object in its proximity, including other vegetation, and kill all the trees. And that affects the animals. Anyway, I'm paraphrasing. So, kill all the trees gets reduced to a silly aesthetic comment about foliage, ? Parentheses, Ms. Beach may not be aware that we need FKN. That's the closest thing I said to a curse word, which, it is, that we need fucking trees in order to make oxygen to breathe. But I wrote FKN, not the whole word. And that was the only, well, actually there was one more implied. Aren't I just so silly? ! So I was a little sarcastic. And then I ended with 2 words for you, Ms. Beach. The first starts with an F, which was meant to sound like a grade in school, like, you fail. But there's also something else implied. I'm not going to pretend that wasn't. Because she's an elegant woman, and she's not the kind of person you curse to. I realize that. And yet, what she did to me was just so, it reeks of conspiracy, really. Over something, as minor seeming as a puppy. But this is my, is it Fourth Amendment right? Is it Second or Fourth Amendment right? My right to property. And the cop should have left it as a civil matter if there was any sort of dispute. And as if I were incapable of working it out myself. And so this is what I have been reduced to in this city over the past 15 years gradually, just because my eyes have seen some things I guess I wasn't supposed to see, and so the focus has been on me made to look like a crazy person. So that was the first email, and that was actually the second email, and the first one, should I continue? I might as well just continue. Let me break this for a second. And the first email I sent after I called her at the office to ask for her email, and she said, well, what is it about? And I said, well, I'm a little upset about something, so I'd rather try to articulate it in an email. I don't want to fight with you on the phone. And she gave me her email address, and I told her not to worry about anything. I was just upset about the minutes. She tried to rationalize what she did, and basically, and then I just really said what I had to say here. But the thing is when I looked into it, it appeared that there's a picture of a woman who is not the woman that I mentioned, who was a neighbor, and I thought there might be something between her and Hillcrest and the rest of it. I'm pretty sure it's not her, but I was actually very happy to see that Ms. Beach had not been the one to twist my words, because I'd always had so much respect for her. She's this cute little Donna Reed type, like Miss Perfect, but in a sweet way. I've always liked her, so I thought. But I never, who reads the minutes? I just happened to a few days ago. But anyway, okay, so this was the very first email I sent, and I CC'd a bunch of other council people and other people too. So I titled it, Not You After All, Ms. Beach. And that was after I got off the phone with her, because I was happy to say, but it wasn't you who was there that night. And so I wrote, Dear Ms. Beach, this January 19th. In fact, you were not at this particular meeting I mentioned to you earlier today in our phone call. I really have to be better at going over it, because I dictated this, so it should have said in our phone call, but it wrote at or phone call. So that would make sense that it was not you who interpreted my statements in such a way as to maliciously disparage me, as I believe this woman who was taking your place that night did. Is this by chance? And I mentioned a neighbor who, I don't think it's her, but I know she doesn't like me either, but she works for this city in a different capacity now, but this is like a couple of years ago, this meeting. So, admittedly, I was very upset and somewhat scattered, yet in my opening statement began with, I am formally accusing the Peekskill police of deliberately writing disparaging police reports against me, and that was interpreted by this clerk in such a way as to make me sound like I receive phone calls from Martians. I also told the mayor, who was a different mayor that night, Mayor Foster, that night that twice the police hung up on me, and that was the only reason that I had come there that night. I made reference to an email which the same police officer who hung up on me that night, after trying to intimidate me and insisted he come to my residence at that moment. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's a resource officer at the high school. I want to say Andre White, ? I'm still not sure if that's his name, but I think it is. This was the officer who, accompanied by another female officer, had come to my building after I called about Mark Crawford, your beloved McNair family, in parentheses, after I recorded his girlfriend screaming about him placing a gun on their baby. The only efforts made by this officer, White, and the female officer who accompanied him the day after I called and emailed the recording to a detective was to knock on McNair Crawford's door that literally lasted about maybe 4 minutes. So I'm trying to say the police only stood at the door for 4 minutes and then just left. And when no one answered the door, they just left. Oh, I wrote that. I don't expect this woman to follow every single word, but she had the nerve to maliciously reduce this to, Fortini believes the police record her phone calls, end quote. It's so obvious that her choice of words was meant to distract from my point and clearly done to make me sound like a crazy person. There's no doubt this was done maliciously because I compare her synopsis of Daryl Davis's loud, obnoxious, racist show after he spoke just before me. No mention was made of the fact that Davis was escorted away from the microphone by police, for example, as he is numerous times. I attached a screenshot of the minutes that I was referring to read for herself. Davis was once again dragged away from the microphone after screaming at the mayor being argumentative just for the sake of being argumentative. Meaning Daryl Davis was being argumentative just for the sake of being argumentative. Yet he's referred to with respect in the minutes. Davis is made to sound like he's just a fair man making rational arguments for his daughter's dance group, when in fact he was deliberately misleading, misrepresenting, and hatefully creating a confusing situation for no other reason than to embarrass Mayor Foster. The man is a total liar, too. I didn't write that. I'll continue. I can't tell from the blurry video if this is Miss Duncan, and I ask because she is a Hillcrest Park resident and neighbor. I only spoke with her once a few years ago. Can't picture her face exactly, but this woman reminds me of her a little bit. And so I don't think this is her, but either way, I would very much like to know this woman's name if she still works for the city. This is because I thought other people were misinterpreting me who were not the same caliber as Ms. Beach, who is obviously a very intelligent woman and a successful woman and has thrived, and is good at what she does. But I wrote, I was upset because the same man, Mark Crawford, had broken into my building's electrical closet, destroyed my property, my computer, by creating an electrical surge. The police never even wrote up a police report about it, and Hillcrest Park never even called the police about it. A few months later, Crawford did, however, go to jail for some sort of illegal gun activity. I mentioned that just in case you all thought I was getting my information from Mars. I'm being a little sarcastic. And I guess I'm repeating myself too because it sounds like the first email. But hopefully this is almost over. I continue. Where is it? I understand that I was vague and scattered when I spoke that night, yet after many months of simply trying to hold my tongue, remain polite, and try to resolve my complaints amicably, I was flustered and frustrated that people only want to make things worse for me. The police, year after year, have done wrong by me. I was threatened with arrest if I didn't hand over a puppy. This was a civil matter that would have resolved itself, yet the police always seemed to have a need to intimidate and basically terrorize me into believing I could be arrested. Yet I went up to that microphone, remained polite, asked for help, and trying to get people to see that I didn't deserve to be treated this way. But should have been that. I didn't deserve this respect. I never threatened with lawsuits, and even the chief of police lied about the dog being sent to Vermont, ! He said that. It's on the tape. He said it right to the mayor's face in front of everybody. It was a total lie. I can see now why the chief of police is threatening me now, I guess, because you forget about these things, and I guess he didn't like seeing that. And anyway, I'll continue. They wrote up a police report, and this was the amazing thing. The police, that is, wrote up a police report that made me sound like I was threatening the woman they gave the dog to. I can't remember her name. And it was never proven that she even had any papers for that dog. I was told this dog was unwanted, and I was trying to rescue it from a woman who sounded like she was abusing it. I may have kept it, I may have found another home, I may have even sold it, but I would have taken a lot of time to do so to make sure it's on the right home. All right, I needed to edit that, but it should have said in the right home. That I found the right home. And I need the police in my face for this. I need a disparaging police report that describes me as being threatening to this woman who simply wanted to have her way, ? Who really was about getting possibly as much as $2,000 for that dog. I found that all out later. I didn't know, and I was not trying to sell this dog. I had a lot of things going on in my head, and I wasn't really sure. I wanted to keep it, but it's a special kind of dog. I was worried about vet bills and if I could afford it and everything. So I was researching it. I talked to people who were breeders in Florida, found out about a lot of things. Anyway, I'll finish this email real quick. It goes on to say, anyway, it's impossible to say all of this in one email. So certainly it's impossible to say it in 3 to 5 minutes at a podium on television with everybody laughing at you like you're a crazy person, a losing battle. I just want to take a minute to say how dare you. P.S. I'm using a dictation tool on small phone to write this, and I have no glasses to check it for typos and editing. So before you deliberately choose to interpret what I'm trying to say as crazy talk, just want to state that for the record. I'm not going to get into other PDFs of minutes online that are even worse, really. Oh, meaning I'm not going to get into it in this email. I'm not going to get into other PDFs of minutes online that are even worse, really. For example, quote, she's concerned about Edward Snowden. And in another, when you make it sound like I made some threat to the Paramount Theater. So little effort could be made to just remain neutral. But I believe this was done, as I said, deliberately to embarrass me, in an attempt to excuse the way the police have unfairly treated me for too many years to count. And that's all I said. There's no curse or anything in that one. And there wasn't really even in the other one. So, other than a few typos that I should have gone over, so didn't have to stop and think about what I meant. There's nothing threatening. It was just an expression of frustration, sadness, really. And I should include the phone call that I have with the police, how they told me that that this was a part of an ongoing investigation and that they needed to ask me some questions. So here I am thinking that I'm actually going to help them with the really serious problems that are going on in my building, and they don't care at all about that. And I'm not going to speculate here as to why.
City Peekskill PD, Officer Patterson.
Yeah, hi, this is Raina Fortini. Somebody told me that there was police ringing my doorbell.
You home?
No.
You're not home?
No.
Okay, when you get home, give us a call.
You can't tell me what it's about?
Nope, not over the phone, ma'am. It's an ongoing investigation. When you get home, just give us a call and we'll send an officer down and we'll explain everything to you.
Well, you're scaring me.
You need to be scared. You're not in any trouble.
So you just need to talk to me about something that's going on. I'll come down there.
If you want to come down, that's fine too.
Okay, well, I noticed that the police officer, someone said he was bald, and I think that there was some animosity or something, so can you just reassure me I don't have to be scared of anything?
No, you don't have to be scared of anything, ma'am. Like I said, you can either come down to the station or when you get home, just give us a call and we'll send the cop up, okay?
Okay, because, I mean, people lie and make stuff up, so I'm afraid that someone's...
No, you're not in any trouble, alright?
So after I talk to you, I'm. Oh my God, he hung up on me. Rio cab number 1. Girl just got in. Girl number 2. License plate 367. Oh, I can't tell. 167 something. I can't tell. And that's at 5:21 p.m.